Hello, everyone. Welcome to NDISCO'S Village Meeting Podcast. This is your hostess, Dr. Maslin and M.OPARAOJI. We are today on episode 22, series 2 of the podcast based on Africa, society, and culture. So today we are continuing the discussions on a question, one of the many questions asked me by my young proteges, and a few of them they are now professionals out of school, making money, have good jobs because a lot of them went through school young and very smart and intelligent, and they try to save their money. Um, Whatever they make, they are having fun, going to places and enjoying themselves. Most of them delaying marriages and settling down, but they know what to do with their money. They don't want to, according to them, be like their um, hyphenated, their parents from the ancestors or the ancestral homes who put their money away, helping and helping again and again, some of them fruitlessly, and forgot about their own retirement. And as the retirement age draws by, the same folks, their parents, are now scratching their heads. Where did the time go? And what are we going to retire on? Because most of them had hoped, like it was when they were raised, to help bring somebody up, and then eventually the people can stand on their own, and then they will be able to save to put in that next in the next bag, or the growing egg that will help them at old age. But that's not happening. So our young professionals are looking at that now, the hyphenated ones, those especially born abroad, in diaspora, including those at the homestead, whether it's Nigerians or Ghanaians, or any of them born outside of the continent of Africa, or even within, are beginning to learn to put their money somewhere, um, as in thoughts of tomorrow. So the last episode 21, we talked about 7 um, areas to consider if they wanted to invest, especially in Nigeria. And if you look to episode 21, you will see some of those that were enumerated. So I'm not going to waste time on that. I'm going to jump into the next 7 that I consider, or do my research and talking to some financial gurus, both in diaspora and back in at the homestead, the suggestions they have. And I back them up by looking at some statistics or data that could, support the word of mouth, or what their suggestions were. So again, it's on, the topic, in Nigeria, where do we safely invest our money? So we're going to get into that um, as we go on. We're hoping that um, by so doing, the young ones who are not practicing that will learn to start asking the right questions, and go from there, and maybe engage professionals who are in those fields of investment and all. I am not an investment banker. The only thing I know about investment are those that maybe done through um, you know some of the job accounts that are kept, whether it's retirement or anything of stocks and bonds that are bought through these means. I mostly do not set out to call on investors to do that. And I'm not a financial accountant or any type of it's just experience that we have all had as adults, and we wanted to impact that on the young ones. And they asked, and so we had to answer their questions the way we know how. So the last set of 7 investment options that I am suggesting for people to consider, the young ones especially, are these: education and training. The risk level here is low to medium, and we're going to explain all this. Cryptocurrency and digital assets. These are, in the past few years, just read their heads up. They are out there. The risk level, though, is very high because of the nature of it. People don't know really what it is all about. It's still an enigma. Um, um, but people are making money from it, but it's very volatile. We'll come back to that. Creative industries. These are at medium to high level risk. Fintech or financial technology and digital payments. We're going to talk about that. Their risk level is medium to high. Dollar investments also exist out there. The risk level is low to medium. The stock market and local equities. This is where people, buy stocks, bonds, and all whatnots. We're going to talk about that as well as medium to high. And manufacturing, last but not the least, the risk level being low to high. Of course, from the last episode to now, there are about 14 suggestions, but that's not the end of it. There are so many other aspects. You have to do your homework very well in order to be able to know what to do or where to go. So these are the ones that were mentioned by so many and written on by so many. As things develop every day, many more options could open up. Now, I did not number this according to any value to that, or priority, or the best. No, it was just the brainstorming going on. So what I would recommend you think about is what level of risk or risks you would like to, jump into. And mostly we say go from low to high. You pluck from the low hanging fruits before you go to the higher one. Again, it's up to you. Now let's look at each of these one by one. Education and training. Now we have heard that the risk here is low to medium, and it is, a good trend out there. Knowing that, for example, in Nigeria, education sector is growing. It's not like it wasn't there before. The government was doing a whole lot more before. But at a particular time, these stopped, or they're no longer as, um, on their important list as everything else. So education, in as much as it's growing the sector, um, it's also some aspects that are not um, um, encouraging. So with opportunities there for private schools, private universities, people are now building and putting their monies together to build so people, the young ones can go to school. It's becoming an opportunity for investment, especially in infrastructure, um, curriculum development, teacher training, even housing for the students. Before, people used to have, ample rooms in the dormitories and all that. It's no longer that way. I know some colleagues of mine who have gone back to the continent to build, dormitories or little apartments, self-contained, that students now pay for and live in, and are very well maintained, or well maintained. the regular ones built by the university or the government. So investors now are exploring these private school development areas and operations. Some of them are building some schools themselves and encouraging a more challenging curriculum or curricula for students in order for them to be able to go according to the global pace. Okay. So for example, also university partnerships are also viable options, opportunities and partnership with universities. Some groups are putting their heads together, money together, to partner with overseas universities from the first or second worlds, and trying to establish that. And if you can put your money in that, it grows. There is also the joint research projects going on in these universities, student exchange programs. People are invested in those, and faculty development. These, like I say, is a low risk, and according to the documents out there. Additionally, investors, you can employ or explore vocational training. Okay. Investing in vocational training programs, including apprenticeships, that's a big one. That's huge. People, because the way the curriculum was set in Nigeria wasn't taking consideration of the traditions or the cultural needs of the communities. And so the education, in most cases, weren't tailoring to the needs of everyone. So, but what we need now are those who can tailor that and have students also apprentice or practice apprenticeships in those areas, skills training, certification programs, so that students can be hands-on while they also learn. So that's a big place to put your money. Let's look at the other one. The next one, I looked at is cryptocurrency and digital assets. Again, this is everybody keeps screaming on this that it's high. Yes, many people are making money off of it. Some people will swear that they really have made a bundle, but let's consider that with the percentage who have lost a lot of money. So people ask, what is cryptocurrency? It's where somebody described it as you are trading in a promise, and the person that is trading and paying for what that promise is doesn't even have a tangible thing to show, but they are also selling on promise. So everybody is dealing with a promise or a space that is so tangible anything to, but it seems to be working. So cryptocurrency traders, they're realizing gains over 30% in less than a year, making it a highly attractive investment for those willing to navigate the regulatory landscapes. But you got to be careful. The way you are making a lot of money is the way you can also lose a lot of money. According to statistics out there in the media, the popularity of stable coins, for example, like USDT, Tether, has grown, with $500 million traded monthly, especially in Nigeria, as Nigerians look for alternatives to protect their wealth from Naira depreciation. Okay. And we all know that Naira has fallen, um, and it keeps falling now. And people don't have any hope for bringing it back where it used to be. Hopefully, the government is doing something about it. But despite regulatory hurdles that we all know, Nigeria remains one of those world's top markets for cryptocurrency adoption. Nigeria is always the first to rush into such things, and I hope it doesn't taste bad in people's blood as we go on. Over 30 million Nigerians are actively, according to statistics out there, trading digital assets. This is, since 2024, using cryptocurrencies as a hedge. That's what it's called, hedge funds, against inflation and the naira's volatility. And that may be an avenue to make money, but again, there is a reason why it's at a very high risk level. The country ranks second. Get that. Nigeria ranks second globally in peer-to-peer Bitcoin trading volume. This is a country that does not have full technology for everyone. The schools are failing in some cases, education level, but we are trading in Bitcoins, the second highest in the world, with transactions totally 2.1 billion with a B in the first half of 2024. So you go figure that out. But what I'm sharing with you here is to be cautious. Nobody's saying don't go into these things, but be careful how you go. Test the waters a whole lot before you really try to swim. The next one I have is creative industries. This is where we have the risk levels medium to high. So these are growing, and in the areas of music, film, art. And we know that Nigeria, for example, is ranking really high up there, if not the best in music. Nigerian music now is the world music. I was in a place 2 days ago that shouldn't be playing Nigerian music at all. They should be playing, whatever that language is that people are speaking around it. But what came over the radio was in Nigerian music, these current ones. I don't know whether it was Wizkid or Davido, one of those. And I started laughing. And, somebody there is like, why? I said, it's so funny to hear in Nigerian music in such an arena. I said, oh, our people here, we really love this kind of music, and we all have it on our playlists, all of those. I'm like, okay, that's good though. So the investors here can explore music production, investing in recording studios, for example, for music publishing, music distribution, all those. I listened to a Davido's interview once. When he started in Nigeria, he had to get money from his dad to build a music studio. And a whole lot of them are beginning to really build that because we never had a lot of those. So it's something growing. A lot more people are going into that kind of business to help the young ones that are attracted to, production of music. It's good to invest in all those, whether it's the distribution or all that. Film production is also a viable option. Okay? With opportunities in film production, including movie production. Sorry, that's what I wanted to say. Movie production, the distribution of the films, film marketing, a whole lot of that is going on. And not only that, somebody in Nigeria can piggyback with somebody in diaspora because we also have Nollywood in Nigeria and diaspora Nollywood. So there are opportunities, and all these require money. You don't even have to pump a lot of money. Just put your little in many aspects. And at the end of the day, one or more of them can be a blockbuster. And there you go. That's investment. Investors, again, we mentioned art galleries. Okay, Nigeria is a place where people now come. I mentioned the other day, and in the last episode, Dirty December, where people now everywhere, come to Nigeria to have fun. Well, some of them may also engage in, going to the art galleries when they are not at the clubs. So includes contemporary art galleries for those all over the world to come and see. Modern art galleries, art museums. Remember, we still have our arts all over the world. So you go even to art museum, um, um, African Art Museum in Washington, D.C. You see a lot of Nigerian, anywhere in the world, actually, a lot of Nigerian arts everywhere. You can start the same thing back, at the homeland or homestead by also investing there and building the same thing so that wherever these people who come to all the way out there to visit these museums can also visit those at the homestead. Okay. Um, Fintech, financial technology and digital payments. Again, these are some things new coming to us because digital or any type of technology is still new in Nigeria. Not practically new, but it hasn't been there for long. So we're still experimenting on things, and that's why it's medium to high. So the fintech, sector in Nigeria continues to grow and rapidly too. Remember when we didn't used to have um, a phone, each person having a phone or bulky ones or different one, but Nigeria has become now, a place where all types of phone are sold or possessed, and then, um, you know, money, investments and all that are coming in from all over the world to do this. So you can as well jump into that stuff. Okay, but look before you look. Driven by the country's large unbanked population, increasing smartphone penetration. Every child on the street now has a phone, whether it's smartphone or regular phone. Even your grandmother has a phone now in the mud house with touches, if you can find that even anywhere. So, for example, as of 2024, there are still about 38 million unbanked Nigerians. So, providing a significant opportunity for financial technology services is just a need. The Nigerian fintech market has attracted 1.2 billion for the B in funding between 2022 and 2024, with over 200 of those startups currently in operation. And people are wizards when it comes to technology, and actually in financial ones, where everyone has their own, uh, uh, banking, so to speak, in their hands. Um, at the time, they developed one where you could go next door or to the shop at the street, and somebody will be able to transfer money for you, or be able to exchange money for you. So things are moving on um, very, very fast. Mobile payment transactions hit 56 trillion naira, which is about $71.4 billion in the first half of 2024, which is about a 20% increase from the previous year. So you see how fast that that goes. Okay. Fintech or financial technology firms like, example, somebody mentioned Flutterware, Paystack. These are all leading the change, delivering high returns to early investors. So with digital payments, for example, making up about 70% of retail transactions. It's not, cash doesn't change hands anymore as it used to be. because of all the things that are going on around people. So the sector continues to expand. Okay. And as they expand, they provide significant returns to the investors. So Flutter Wave, like they call it, recent Series D funding, the round raised about $250 million, pushing its valuation to $3 billion. So these are statistics that are out there. I'm not even, this is real. This is a fact, or these are facts. So the sector's impressive growth trajectory makes financial techs, or in short, what they call fintech and digital payments, one of the most lucrative investment options in Nigeria. So with the returns are out of this world, bolstered by the rise in mobile payments, digital digital banking services. So it's not even anything that anybody can begin to try to explain to you, because you will see that happening every day. People changing phones and no longer carrying cash, but payments are being done electronically wherever you go. So the other one is dollar investment. Dollar investments, there it has a low risk to medium. I was sharing with someone the other day that it's funny that now you can do business in Nigeria, or you can even work for a company in Nigeria and they pay you in dollars instead of in naira. And so the global nature of the workforce and everything we do now is such that you don't even, the dollar that used to be, somebody shows you a dollar and say, "Ooh, this is my first dollar having dollar." You don't even need to see that currency itself, but the exchange will be what is a good turn on investments. So these investments enable you, the dollar investment, to save or invest in US dollars. Thereby, it's a hedge, hedging against the naira, whether it's the depreciation of it or the inflation of it. Some believe that investing in dollar denominated assets, one would essentially be hedging against the risks of naira depreciation, and which is true. So you gain access to the stable markets out there by insisting on being paid or paying in dollars as against the local currency. So this is another investment area if you are a young one out there looking where to put your money. It depends on how much and what you are investing in, um, dollar wise, with the equivalence there, or what you're hedging against. We're always encouraged to go low, and as time goes on, you can go higher. But the risk seems to be a little bit minimal. But with the new move by some African countries, and recently in the news of the coalition of some other 11 countries against the dollar, get that. Some countries, because of the tariff issues going on with the US, they are now trying to work around that, and that might affect the dollar value. In Africa, we have some countries, the Sahel area, and about that, talking about or pushing away the dollars. So be very aware and watch the trends of these countries and what they are planning to do. Okay? Because if they boycott the dollar, like they are planning to do, it might fluctuate the value of dollar this time. So you are encouraged to look twice, survey the political climate of the regions, the tariff climate all over the globe before stepping into such an investment. That's all I can say. Next is the stock market and local equities. Again, we are told the risks here is medium to high. So in the banking sector in Nigeria, for example, And according to records that I obtained, companies like Zenith Bank, Access Bank, and lately Fidelity Bank, they have delivered dividends of 12% to 50% or more to shareholders. The Nigerian Exchange Group, the all share index is up by 8.9% recently, making it one of the best performing stock markets in Africa. So go figure. So local equities continue to offer investors strong dividends and capital appreciation, particularly in industries like telecommunications. That one has gone through the roof since it started with all these phone devices and all that. Consumer goods as well. That's a huge one because it goes up and down with the up and down dollars as well. Demands keep rising though, whether we want it or not. Inflation is out there. So this is what you look at when you are going to do your investment in stock markets and local equities, not only in Nigeria but anywhere in the world. Look before you leap and keep monitoring, keep looking at the market. Don't just put your money and back off and think it's going to make a whole lot. We saw how the markets are crashing everywhere. When policies change a little bit, it affects the markets, the exchanges, the money powerhouse. So always look at that. Last but not the least, this is the 14th, aspect to consider is manufacturing. So as young people, this is really good time for you to do so. Age is on your side. Okay. So start low. This one has a low to high risk level. So Nigeria's manufacturing industry is growing. It was growing earlier when Nigeria started, standing on her feet. But after some time, it dipped. Now it's beginning to grow again with opportunities in production, processing, packaging. If people like, Dangote could do that with oil, and the car manufacturers could do those with Innocent and all the rest of them, then you will rest assured that such manufacturing areas could expand and beyond cars, cement, or oil products. So look into that. Investors can explore food processing. That's a big one. That is an area people have not dealt with. A lot of people are going into agriculture nowadays, and somebody has to process the huge harvest that hopefully will come out of these, everybody pouring into agriculture. Investing in food processing and manufacturing, such as flour milling, oil refining, like I mentioned Dangote before, fruit processing. We could start drying some and making them available in world market, the things that we have and nobody else has. Okay. Textile manufacturing is also a viable option. Today, Nigeria is emerging as a powerhouse in fashion. All over the world, it's really beginning to, be mentioned a whole lot. The other day, there was the Met Gala in New York where Black designers were honored. Half of the people that came to that gala were clothed by Nigerian designers. Can you imagine that? So if they are designing, somebody has to produce those um, clothing or textiles that are going to be used to create the fashions. So with opportunities in cotton production, spinning, weaving, our cultural aspects or fashion could make their way out to the world. Additionally, investors can explore pharmaceutical manufacturing That's an area that really needs to expand in Nigeria. Of course, there are bureaucracies that are making these really fall back, but imagine the pharma industries, because that's what I know best. They are looking for emergent countries or emergent markets or emerging markets. And who says Nigeria or places in Africa cannot be part of those? This is when you invest in drug production, packaging, distribution, especially. So the manufacturing is a good place to look at when people want to put their money in somewhere. Um, with all that said, I really implore you to beware and be aware of the risks and challenges to invest in anywhere and everywhere, not just in Nigeria. Those of you who are also young ones from other West African countries, I am also asking you, or other African countries, to look into your areas of ancestry as you invest your hard earned money, to look before you leap. So there are, the report out there is that there are numerous investment opportunities everywhere, especially in Africa, because it's a growing, continent with a whole lot to go for it. Okay. Um, but consider the economic risks, inflation, exchange rates. We were talking about dollar and naira the other day, but we can see that in other currencies as well. Political risks, that's a big one, with instability, because that can frustrate you to an extent that you either lose your money or you withdraw your money or you just waste it trying to establish. Corruption is a big one. Policy changes is another. So deeply review regulatory risks as well. Know what the country does, because no two countries are alike when it comes to regulations and all that. There's always a tweak. The uncertainty of those bureaucratic, red tapes. Some of them will ask for more than an arm and a leg. Inconsistent enforcement. Yes, that goes with the corruption, to name a few. So beware of who you are doing business with. I have said it before in the last episode. I'm saying it again. Whether it's the agency, the broker, the representative, your own relatives, everybody. Know, investigate, and be very sure before you engage. And if you have now done your homework and you have invested, monitor consistency. Don't just take anybody's word for it. Ensure that you may have the chance to visit once in a while if it is infrastructure you're building or something. Um, that monitoring or having somebody reliable to monitor on your behalf should be an intricate part of your investment portfolio. Okay. So again, in my concluding part, or in conclusion of what we have said again and again, um, I appreciate that such a question could come to me. I will really thank you for bringing this forth, because there are some other young ones who might want to know. So what I am leaving you with is that you don't need millions of naira to begin, or millions of dollars to begin. You can start with as little as 1,000 naira, $1,000, or whatever currency, euro, pounds, whatever it is, and learn as you go and grow your confidence and portfolio over time. Okay. The sooner you start investing, the more you will benefit from the power of compounding and long-term growth. Okay. Age is on your side. I keep saying that. Your parents, some of us learned the hard way. some hoping on pensions and gold watch after 50 years of work, but it is different for you all now. Some of those eluded your parents. The world is your stage. Seize the day, diversify if you can. Some of the ideas that I shared with you had to be studied very well. You look into that. For example, those who are investing in music, fame, and art, make sure that you remember that people suffer a lot from the what would I call it now? Um, Piracy aspect. People just duplicate what you painstakingly had put together and sell at a less price. So look out for piracy. That's a whole lot in that aspect. Above all, and in addition, if you and when you have made up your mind to invest, investors, please conduct thorough deep research. Again, make your plan. There has to be a business plan. All those who talk to Auntie, you know that I'll ask you that. But for your own sake, do a business plan, seek local partnerships, monitor, and adapt to market trends. Check what could be happening in the next 5 years and start now to envisage how you going to reshape, withdraw, or add. It is very important to understand the local market. If you are a hyphenated diaspora Nigerian, don't take anything for granted. Understand the local market, get tutored on it, get to sit down with somebody who knows. The thing is that you don't even have to go back there to know. There are some experts now or professionals that operate in both worlds, but again, you have to build a trust. In order to develop a unique value proposition, you have to assess the competition that you have there. Okay. May you be blessed in all this venture, I pray, and may you make the best of the judgments or decisions, and may you have your returns thousandfold. I got to add a disclaimer here. Please note that you asked me the question which I'm answering. I'm not an investor or part of the establishment of any of the industries, businesses, or investment institutions that I have mentioned. I don't have any interest in any of them. I have not been paid by any of them to share ideas on them. If I own any, stocks or bonds, they are just like anyone else who has no idea where their monies are invested, by their professionals. So there you have it. I am going to end this, here by thanking you. And next month, we're going to continue with another topic, and we're hoping to go have a one-on-one interview with one of our young adults in that episode. Again, please subscribe. We are on YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you name it. Please subscribe and ask others to at least go. We are growing in those who are viewing or subscribing, and I am grateful for that. But these are topics that are well researched and thought of that could benefit anyone. And if you are an adult or elderly person, you can recommend this to your younger ones and family members, nieces, nephews. I promise you it's going to be good for them because these are all researched. I am grateful for being your hostess and hope that you continue to follow and give more of your ideas or bring your questions forward. Remember the spirit of Ubuntu. I am because you are. Thank you. This is your hostess, Dr. Maslena NDISCO'S, saying sayonara. Bye bye.